because he was deep in. And
I thought that.
And then, you know, his dad having another child outside of the house, and which he didn't meet until they was much older, and then, but everybody knew, you know, back in the day, you know,
everybody knew they was talking about it.
Yeah, black communities were tight. You know what I'm saying? So, the book itself, it's definitely, it makes you think of how we grew up as children, how bullying wasn't bullying back then. It was more just like he was just picking on you.
Yeah.
And one particular thing in the book, he went to a school where he got beat up, and his uncle taught martial arts, and he started taking martial arts. But in his mind, he said, "I will never happen to me again."
We work with somebody who got beat up, and they take Tai Chi. And that's what they said. They have to catch themselves because they revert back to when they got beat up.
Right. So you know how we do. We come, hey, and I might mush or whatever. So the dude mushed him playing, and he smashed
it. Yeah,
he smashed him, and everybody standing there like he was only playing. But in his mind, that was that dude that beat him up. So we deal with a lot of things that we try to keep hidden. But certain triggers bring them out. Like for me, it was always the relationship I didn't have with my daughters. And my fiance, she always kept chipping away. She kept trying to pick that lock to that box, and she kept asking. And the more I started to talk about it, the more we started arguing, because it was a hurtful. She opened up a sore spot. Then she wanted to know about the relationship between me and my dad. Right, man, wait a minute. You get one box at a time.
But let's process this box.
And trying to deal with the emotions of loving her, and the hurt from dealing with my dad, the hurt from not being, for me, an adequate father for my daughters. All those emotions just stirring in the pot, and I'm trying to sort through all these emotions. And eventually she left because I became emotionally
either angry or falling back.
And that's what I did. So she left. So we have to understand that we have to get these traumas out. We have to talk to those who caused these traumas, and then let them explain why they did what they did, or ask questions. Like my dad lives in Detroit, and my mom, I had a conversation with my mom. We was in Jamaica. And we had a nice little conversation, and our relationship has gotten better. We understood that we can't. I used to respond to my mother the way she responded. So my mother cussed at me, I cussed back at her. And she said, "You ain't gonna talk to me like that." I said, "Well, you're not gonna talk to me like that." So we would go back and forth. So it'd be weeks sometimes before I saw my mom.
Wow.
So we started to actually conversate and talk, and get a better understanding of where all this anger is coming from. And my mom's response was the most man response that you would ever think a woman would say to you. And she said, "It happened, get over it."
God, that's a man statement.
Okay.
Because at some point, you have to accept that, like, you know what, I can't fix it, but it's up to me from this point to see which direction. I can take the negative route, or I can take the positive route and fix it from this point on.
Right.
Exactly.
So even with my dad, it's like I talk to his girlfriend more than I talk to him.
Wow.
And if I call, she'll call me back. And she'll ask me, "How your dad called you?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "I don't get this. I don't understand what's going on." I said, "Me either. I'm still trying to figure out that 49 years later, I'm still trying to figure out why if I call him, you don't call back. I leave a message, you don't call back." So, so my next best thing for me is to go and face-to-face where you can't skedaddle.
It's funny you say that, because I did an episode about a month ago with a young lady who said the same aspects, but she was missing her father. And she was saying in that episode that you have to, like, forgiveness is for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily for the person, but you gotta be able to forgive them for what they did, and be able to sit down with them and tell them. They have to be willing to hear it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's ultimately for you to get it out, so you're not stuck in that pattern of what they did. You know what I mean?
So, T.D. Jakes said something that I found very interesting, and he said, if I call somebody and they don't call me back, eventually I stop expecting a phone call.
Facts.
So if I stop expecting a phone call, I stop getting upset because they don't call back. So now I have better control of my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So now that he don't call back, it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
So, and he had gotten sick recently, and of course I was calling and checking, talking to the doctors about
what the child's supposed to be.
Right. And I was talking to him, and they was telling me what was going on with him, and I was his caregiver at the time.
Wow.
So it's because the girlfriend said I can't do nothing because I'm not his wife.
Oh yeah. She can't make no decisions. Right.
She can't make no decisions. So the doctor's calling me, telling me, well, he needs this surgery, that surgery. Can you give me verbal consent?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if it's going to help him be better, blah, blah. So I did all this, and I'm saying to myself, I said, well, damn. It's funny how I just jumped right into action to make sure he was straight, but he never jumped into action to make sure I was straight ever.
Wow.
So at that point, I knew I had forgave him.
Yes, sir.
So I still want to see him face to face, and I just want a better understanding of where his mindset is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm his only child.
Jeez. He
has no other children but me. And none of the women he's ever dealt with could understand why he doesn't have a relationship with his only child.
Which is crazy.
And it's a boy.
I read a book also, it's called The Diary of a Emotionally Constipated Man. And he was saying how, the same thing, he asked his father, he was a therapist. He told one of the boys to ask his father about their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, the father broke down and realized he was duplicating the same response he got from his biological father. So it's good, like I said, to be able to trace back where this anger is coming from, or where this mistreatment is coming from. I also like how you backed child support up to all the way to where, as men, we don't understand where we come from, and I like that in order for us to be better fathers, we have to understand where we came from. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm taking women out the equation because we men. In order for us to be good dads, we need to understand about our dad, about our grandfather, about our heritage, so that we can be like, oh, wait a minute, I'm duplicating the same negative results that I didn't like it, so let me fix my children. And that's something that I think men should do. Like I said, therapy, talk to their fathers. Mm-hmm. If they still around, talk to granddad if they still around. Because until you fix you, it's nothing with your children will be right. You're gonna treat them the same way you was treated as a child.
Yeah, because you're gonna show some of the same tendencies. Mm-hmm. It's just human nature to show tendencies of genetics. Mm-hmm. Like I said, for my children not to be around my father, they have a lot of his ways, and so do I, because my dad at one time was screening phone calls, and it's like, wow. Why do you screen phone calls like you that important? Yeah. But he would do it, and at one point he did call back. He would call me back, but now it's like he's older. He's 67 years old. He's older. He's sick. He's taking dialysis. Mm-hmm. Very stubborn man, but he's to the point where I have to get up there sooner than later. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll hurt me more if I don't get a conversation with him. Mm-hmm. If he does pass, more so than anything else. Just to have a conversation when I sit down face to face. And I had to learn not to be like him. Like he was in and out of prison. I'm a correctional officer. That's crazy.
How they correlate.
Right. So it was very, very, very simple for me to say I have to break the cycle because his father was the same and his father before him was the same. So I had to be the one to break the cycle, and I knew that. But it was other things that I needed to break too, and that was to learn how to be more consistently vulnerable with my ladies. Even dating, even going back to my first girlfriend to my current fiance now, I still am working on being consistently vulnerable. She said I have a tendency to be that way, and then all of a sudden I start drifting downriver.
But I think that's what a woman's, I don't want to say job, but that to just say, to be that anchor. When they see us swaying off course, hey babe, is everything okay? Right. You know, because then it'll make us, oh wait a minute, whoa, something, what am I doing? You know, that's a very good asset for your fiance, man, to be able to reel you in without really beating you up for drifting off.
Right. So and on that aspect, we also have to have women who are going to decide to not judge a man for crying, not calling how he feels complaining. Because when it's on the flip side and she's telling him how he feels, he go, oh man, stop bitching and nagging.
They be upset.
They get upset. But we have never had a space in time where we could sit down and go, I really feel bad today and I don't know why. I just feel like the things I'm going through is draining me. It's making me feel like I don't need to be here. I feel appreciated, and I don't like it. And when we have those spaces and we're able to have a circle of trust where we can talk and get these things out, we actually become better men.
Yeah, I agree.
Communication, and we always talk about communication. So we are able to communicate these things to our women, to our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, our sons, our brothers. You know, we become better people. That's less stress. We're sleeping better.
Oh yeah,
we're loving better. And that's every aspect of loving that I'm talking about. And we don't feel uncomfortable showing public displays of affection. It's just a natural thing. And at one point in time, I wouldn't take pictures. I didn't like it. And people like to sneak and take pictures of me because I look moving. Now, I'll take pictures. I'll pose pictures. I'll get in pictures. I'll be that open guy to take a picture. And that's only because of the woman I'm with. Because prior to that, I'm not taking no picture of me. Yeah. So, but I find now that I can have that difficult conversation with her. Even if when I don't want to, it's like, okay, that's tough. That's fine. And I'm still struggling with those comfort moments.
Okay.
Like, I can't, like, it's like, even with my daughters, it's like, they would cry and I would do this.
Like, okay, you ready to move on?
Exactly. It would, you know, okay. All right, let's move on. And I still don't understand why I do that.
Wow.
Because when I think back as a child, my mother's mother would, if I cried, she would hug me. She would hold me and make me feel better. My mom did it too. But for me, when I go around that corner to where all my uncles at, that crying.
Boy, suck it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You bleed? Is it, you ain't bleed? All right, move on. So I got accustomed to that, and then it was like, now it's like, I can, it just feel awkward. It don't feel natural.
Which is the issue with all men, I think.
Right, it's like, I know I'm supposed to do something at this point, but what am I supposed to do? She's crying. What? It's like you
playing double dutch.
Right, it's like, I know. And I literally go into,
wow.
And the therapist and they're like, what's the problem? I don't know. I can't explain to you why I just don't go.
What's stopping you from doing what you know you need to do?
Right. It's like and it's funny because I used to hug my sister when she was younger. And it's like those moments of affection had stopped. So as I got older, I never really had it anymore, like those hugs. You know, children, yes. Yeah. Children will run to you, hug you, make you feel like $1 million. Anytime, children. But it was like that adult affection and comfort through my past relationships was missing. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was a hidden agenda. They needed something, wanted something.
Man, this is good because, like I said, it's showing how when a man is not intact with who he is, it affects your choice in life. It affects your choice in women, which now affects your choice in how you treat your children that may come out of a bad relationship. It affects how you bond with your kids. It affects your children because they don't have that bond. They spark off and make bad decisions. So again, to me, this is showing men how we need to do better. Yes, it's about child support, but at the end of the day, and again, we know that there's some men who are doing what they're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, if that man pull back and look at himself, he can see where, yeah, this is kind of my fault because I didn't fix what I used to do, or I didn't know why I did what I did. And again, once you learn that why you do it, is now that man's obligation to himself and his children to fix it. Right. Or not fix it, but use that as a springboard as how you do better.
Well, basically get a better understanding of, first you need the tools.
Yes.
To be able to understand and see where you went left. I'm not gonna say you was wrong because that's who you were.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say you went left. When you want to get back in the middle of the road, you got to have the tools to be able to drive the car back to the middle of the road. So when you learn these things and understand, like, okay, let's do a self-evaluation and be honest with yourself, you'll get a better understanding of, okay, I don't express how I feel. I don't like having those difficult conversations. So, and in expressing myself angrily does not get anything resolved.
Because everybody shut down.
Everybody, what? Fuck it then, I'm not talking to you no more. Okay, don't talk to me then. And some men do that on purpose. Yeah. Just not to have those difficult conversations. And I was one of them. He would sit there and look at you like you was crazy. Well, with her, because she was the only one that gave a damn enough to want to understand where I was mentally and emotionally. Nobody else really wanted to go that deep into my emotional leak. So that's why she got the ring. Yeah. That's why she got the ring. So so as I see myself and I look at myself, I made some mistakes in this relationship as well. But I learned from them it's easy to back out. It's easy to conduct yourself as a man. I mean, if you understand, hey, I got a woman at home that love me, support me, and if I pick up the phone and say I need something to eat, it's done. Or I need this, or I want that. And when you get home, or you see that Amazon package knocking on your door, and you look, she said, "Oh, that's for you." Or
it's the small things that matter.
That's it, and that's all she's always ever told me. She said, "Yo, financially, you do everything I need you to do. It's just that vulnerability that you keep not consistently giving me. If I called you and said I need $200, I hear my Zelle go off, bling, with no questions asked. But if I say, come on, sit down and tell me how you feel, you start tap dancing. You tap dancing, sing rap songs, everything else, but have a conversation with me about how you feeling with the things that you need. You need, and I know you need stuff. I know you need stuff emotionally. And I never understood, that was one of the biggest reasons why some of my relationships failed, because I had women who also didn't know how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And when I look back on it, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They would always say, you got nonchalant attitude, you act like you don't care, you ain't got no emotion. And now when I look back on it, it's like, that's what they was talking about. The whole time they was talking about my non-vulnerable self. Every time. But when a man feels unappreciated, he's going to give you a version of himself so he can survive in this relationship.
Yeah, and walk on eggshells.
And most of the time, he make everybody in the house tiptoe.
Yes.
Because now, you didn't want me when I was. You want it now that I'm, what? No, I ain't doing none of that shit. You respond to him. You respond to that guy. You respond to the guy and say, I'm going out tonight. I'll be back. Now you, oh, why you gotta go out? You can stay home. We can spend time. No, when I was trying to be like that, you ain't want none of that. So you be you, I'ma be me. Good night.
Yeah.
So we as human beings have to start appreciating the little things that people do for each other. And the big grandeur things are, they short-lived.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
They're short-lived. But I noticed the day I had ordered her flowers and had them sent to the house, she had said some out of her mouth to our homegirls. She told me this after the flowers came. Talking shit about me. To her head up. And she was like, well, how you, that grown girl was like, how you know he ain't gonna do it? Da, 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 da. So when the knock, because I got a camera at the front door, so I knew when he came to the flowers, you seen the flowers, I could see her face like really light up. And that's a small gesture because I did other things for her. So that little thing like that, when I got home, it was like
cakes in the oven, food on the stove.
Yeah, it's a great thing that, because this right here that we doing, I would have never done. You know, like T1, I know you pay child support. I'm like, yeah, you gonna come talk about it? Just cause no.
So let me ask you this question. With a summary, what advice would you give guys who are going through, I'm gonna say, the struggle of child support, because whether it's financially or whatever, what advice would you give them moving forward?
Always understand that you have options. So if you was a man who was making, let's say, $65,000, and your child support was well over $800 a month, and you no longer make that money, be smart about your finances and go back to child support and say, I no longer make this amount of money. The job I have now, the potential earnings is not the same as this, and go down there and file for a decrease. protect yourself. Don't put yourself in a credit hole. Now that they put child support on your credit report,
Jeez, I didn't know that.
It hinders you from advancing. Because what bank gonna loan you money when you don't even take care of your own children?
Exactly. You ain't gonna take care of your child. You gonna give me the money.
The REIS will show up on your credit report. 500, 600, 1,000. It shows delinquency. Delinquent. That word delinquent
is a strong word.
It's a very powerful word when you're trying to buy a home. When you're trying to buy a car. When you're trying to you're trying to get a small business on.
Yeah.
I look at that, I'm running your paperwork, and I say, denied. Or you're getting this outrageous APR because you were delinquent in child support. So for men on the financial side, now on the emotional side and the mental health side, be mindful of the woman you lay down with. That if she ain't a virgin, she done lay down with other people.
She got some baggage.
Right. So if you know this is not a long-term thing, 7-Eleven sells them. Every gas station in America sells them. Go get some. Put it on. Use it. Get your ultra thins. If you want to get that feeling, put them ultra thins on, and you use them.
Enjoy the ride. Everybody's safe. Because you also have vindictive women. When they have an STD by a man that they thought was being faithful, they don't mind passing it to a man who's being unfaithful to his woman. So just like we have vindictive men who've gotten STDs from messed up women, women get STDs from screwed up men. So women and men need to protect themselves from each other. Women especially, because y'all incubate, y'all shit is an incubator, and you will catch shit and won't know. That's why I be blind.
Yes. So and men, we need to protect our women. Period. That's spiritually, emotionally, and financially. We are, a lot of times we are the cause. Either a husband, I'm gonna say either a father, a boyfriend, or a husband is the reason why some of our women are the way they are. And the reason why our women hold on to those rings so tight is because every time they have letting the man take one, he has let them down. He has let them down.
I like that.
So we have to be mindful. Okay, honesty to me is the way to go. If I know for a fact that all I want from you is the physical, and women will agree to this, just say that.
Just say you get more because you've been letting know up front.
Right. Hey, all right, that's all you want from me. If that's not what she into, she gonna tell you I'm not interested.
Yeah, she gonna roll out.
I'm just not interested. Just what it is. But if she is, she might not. That same day or 2 days later, she would, But just be honest, and women the same way. If you know what, I take that back, because women be the first ones to tell you, hey, I don't need no relationship. I just want to do this. This is what I want from you.
Good, and you catch feelings.
And men do catch feelings. That's why we have a job where we work at. Because they catch feelings, and then they decide, oh, if I can't have it, you can't.
Nobody have it.
And unfortunately, our women do the same thing. Bust out cars, bust out windows.
Bust the windows out your car.
There you go. So we have to start protecting each other emotionally and spiritually, because we're destroying each other more so than anything else, because that mental breakdown. And we are no good to our children if we are not mentally stable.
Exactly.
And our children watching us move. And then, you'll have one child that seem like they balance, they go off and they have great careers, but they single all the way until they're 40 years old, because then they realize, oh, I do have issues. But then you'll have the one that done had 6, 7 kids by 3 different men because they got issues.
Because they got issues,
And these young men, multiple babies by different women because he has issues.
You got issues that never been dealt with.
And we can't protect our children from these traumas because we never dealt with our own traumas. And I believe that's where it needs to start. We need our parents, our grandparents, our parents, then us. We need to always have that open door communication. You know, society is always going to put burdens on us, and we're going to have to deal with them regardless.
Unrealistic burdens.
Right. But when we coming out the sanctity of our own home, we should be able to come in and have cordial conversations about what's going on with us mentally. Rest in peace to, Ellen's DJ Twitch.